morning, everybody. How are you? Happy Tuesday. Hope that your Tuesday is off to a good start. Hope that you and your family are safe and well. And we get to spend some more time talking about data science and being able to develop our skills, develop our community, and just keep on working towards whatever our individual goals in data science may be. So really grateful that I get to spend this time with all of you. Thank you so much for taking the time out of your day to join in and join the rest of us. So today is a little bit different because believe it or not, today, right now, this is my second stream of the day. I was actually live about 90 minutes ago, about 2 hours ago, where we had our little watch party for getting 50,000 users or 50,000 followers. That came a lot earlier than expected. It's been crazy the past couple days as far as my subscriber numbers and follower numbers. So if you missed out on the stream, I'm sorry about that. I'm sorry that it was so rushed. I personally felt really rushed because I saw the numbers going up and I was like, oh my gosh, I better hurry. I better get the stream started and tell my moderators all this other stuff. So I'm sorry if you missed out on that. It's my fault. I should have, I should have done it a little bit earlier. And honestly, I just didn't know it was going to come that quickly. Just to give you an example, for me, in a 24-hour period, and this, because obviously I study my analytics. In a 24-hour period, I get about 1,000 followers, roughly speaking. Overnight alone, last night, just in the 12 hours overnight, when I stop checking my numbers to when I wake up and look at the numbers, I got 1,000 followers. So that's like double what I would normally expect in a 12-hour period. So that really moved me. That really caused me to think, okay, wow, it's going to happen a lot faster. And then just to give you even more detail on that, I told my moderators that when we spoke about it last week, because I wanted to have the moderators on the stream with me. And I said, well, my numbers and my estimates say it'll come Friday. That's when I really thought, I mean, you can ask them, but at first I told them, hey, it's going to be Friday. So for it to happen today on Tuesday in the morning, it's been crazy. It's been crazy. This whole weekend has been crazy. So really appreciate the support from all of you. And again, I'm sorry if you missed that. For 100K, I'm going to have a little bit of a longer stream. Maybe do like something crazy, like a 12-hour stream or something like that. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. But yeah, crossed over 50K. So that's crazy, guys. Crazy. I just can't believe it. But yeah, for those of you joining us, we ask you to please introduce yourself, city, state, province, country. Lots of new users, so would love to hear from you. Don't be shy. No one's going to call on you. You don't have to be some amazing data scientist to participate in the chat. You can just let us know how you're doing and, go from there. And then I also like to do a little bit of a opening note where I share some of my thoughts as far as, maybe something data science related or life related or whatever the case may be. Give you something to think about, give you something to consider. If you want to comment on it, you're certainly welcome to do that in the chat. But overall, we have our global roll call, we have our opening note, and then I take all questions. I walk into some streams, I have an agenda. Other streams like today, no agenda. I love hearing what you guys have to say. We've had such great discussions because all of you are wonderful at coming up with different topics you want to talk about. So obviously today, if you guys want to have questions about the 50K or anything else, or where I think we're going, or different things that are coming up, please let me know. But please let us know your city, state, province, country. And as far as the opening note today, it's really obviously it's tempting to um, reflect upon the 50K and everything. Um, and one of the things I think that I'm not sure a lot of people realize is that you hear about the big streamers that or the big content creators who have editors and graphics people and they basically have entire staffs, right? Because they kind of become companies unto themselves. But even though I have had a lot of growth, I'm still a smaller content creator, so I really can't afford to have a staff and all of that stuff. So I was reflecting this morning on all the stuff I've had to learn. I mean, I've had to learn how to do thumbnails and how to edit my own videos, and these things I haven't really done before. I'm at core, I'm a data guy, I'm a scientist, and more specifically, I've been a leader in that field, right? Not, like I've been more of a data executive than I have a data scientist, like programmer or analyst, right? But I've had to learn all of these things in the past few months. Just to be able to bring, all of this content to you guys. So obviously I'm happy to do it and all that. But it's been a heck of a journey in terms of the different things you have to learn and what you have to put together and the marketing side of it and the algorithm side of it and all the craziness that you have to deal with the different platforms and the terms of service and things like that. But it's been fun. It's been fun to learn all that. But what I mostly had fun with is, all of you guys, all of the support, all of the great questions. It's been extremely encouraging to see how alive and well data science is, especially on an international level. I'm so grateful that I have such an international audience in all of you. So it's been really nice to see that, really nice to be able to build that up. As I tell you guys, I have done a lot of travel, so I try to be open and aware to other cultures. The world goes way beyond me, and not just my life, but where I live and my region, my country, and all that other stuff, right? So it's been really encouraging to see that data science is alive and well, and just really grateful for all of you. So thank you to all of you for making this community great, for all the great stuff that all of you bring. And yeah, I mean, like I said, for me, this is the most fun when we do the live stream, because I never know what you guys are going to ask, but I like that. So that's what makes it fun for me. So really appreciate all of you. Really glad that all of you are here, and always happy to answer your questions. And if I can help you, I try to, and if I can't, I tell you that too, because I don't want to mislead you guys. And just kind of, we're going to keep going. We're going to keep going to 100K. I think I can get to 100K before the end of the year. So we'll see. We'll see how that goes. But yeah, let's start looking at all the messages. I already see a lot of regulars. And if you're new, again, please let us know your city, state, province, country. It's good to meet new people. And again, you don't have to be some great data scientist. I don't want people to walk in and feel intimidated, like, oh, I can only participate if I ask a good question. Just let us know where you're from. Okay? All right. So at the very top, Rahul, our good friend Rahul from the mountainous regions of India, says hello. Hey Rahul, how are you? Hope you're doing well. Congrats on 50K. Thank you so much, Rahul. Really appreciate you. I really appreciate you saying that, and really appreciate your support. Thank you. Fatima, our good friend Fatima says, hey sir. Hey Fatima, how are you? Hope that you're doing well. Hope you're doing well out there in Meekness. Let us know how your studies are going. Hopefully your classes are going well. Hopefully you're feeling confident in your grades and everything else. I assume that you're going to be coming up on some midterm exams or whatnot. So hope you're doing well out there, Fatima. Let us know how you're doing. Harris, our good friend Harris says, hello, sir. Sorry for the 3 days absent. I was not in my city. Okay, cool. Well, it's always good to see you back, Harris. Hope you're doing well. Hope everything hope everything is good. Hope you were away for good reasons. Harris says, congratulations for the 50K. Thank you. Appreciate it so much. Harris, I know you're one of our newer watchers, so I really appreciate you. It's funny, Harris, because you're one of our recent watchers, but by the time we hit 100K, you're gonna be like a veteran watcher, right, or an older watcher, right? It's just crazy how much growth you can have on social media. So you're a newer watcher now, but sooner you'll be a later one. Just watch. Denelson from LA says, "Good morning, Dennis. Congrats on the big 50." Thank you so much. Yeah, big day, big day. I was telling my moderators that I wanted to look up when I did the 10K celebration stream because it wasn't that long ago. And I'm curious about that because that'll help me know when I'll be reaching, or give me a better idea of when I should be reaching 100K. So for 100K, I'm definitely going to be doing something like a longer stream, like, maybe like a 12-hour stream or something, or 24-hour stream, maybe, I don't know. Something a little bit longer to help, help more people attend and all that. And then, of course, I'm going to do a Silver Play unboxing video, right? You got to do that. It's just crazy to think that I'm even talking about, reaching 50K or 100K. Like, I've never done this before, guys. Like, I've had some fun with some social media stuff, different things I've explored, but like, to think that it could be like 50K or 100K, like, I tell you, I used to be a smart guy, and now I sit at home just trying to come up with memes for you guys. Like, what happened? Rex, my good friend Rex, such a great supporter. And Rex, you're one of my early watchers now I think about it more and more, Rex. So really appreciate you. Happy Tuesday, everyone. Congratulations on making 50K followers on YouTube. It's been awesome being part and seeing this community grow. Can't wait to see what more the future holds. Yeah, Rex, I appreciate that. And you've been a great supporter, consistent supporter. So thank you so much, Rex. Really happy to have you as a mod. I'm really happy to support you in your own journey too. Yeah, Rex, the future could be interesting. The future could be interesting. There's always things that I'm looking at for the community. I'm going to spend a little bit of time on your question, Rex, because I do think about the different things that I want to do for all of you, and for the content, and for the growth here. And believe it or not, I look at a lot of different things, but I don't want to be just another content creator. I don't want to bring you guys like cheap advertising or cheap merchandise, or I try to avoid following trends, like whatever like the hot hashtags or hot topics are. I try to avoid doing stuff like that. One, because I want to keep a professional level to everything that I do. At the end of the day, I'm still a data executive. But two, I don't want to waste your time, right? I respect your time as my viewers. So I do look at a lot of things that I don't end up doing because they're so cheesy. They're cheap. They're not good. They're not inherently good. So I get all kinds of emails, all kinds of offers for products and junk that I turn down. But we'll see. We'll see what the future holds. One of the things I do envision doing, probably more into the new year, maybe not the end of this year, but into the new year, is I'm probably going to start doing more conferences, and I'm going to bring you guys along to those conferences. So I'm going to start preparing myself more to do better mobile filming setups, And if I go to a conference or like a trade show or something, I'm going to bring you guys along, right? Maybe I'll live stream from there. Maybe I'll record from there. Who knows? But, I'm going to start doing more things like that. Maybe just more field work or things like that. Maybe more interviews. Who knows? But we'll see. We'll see. I think that one of the things, if you guys are interested, I know a lot of you are interested in business. And if you want to follow a good influencer, there's a guy out there by the name of Jesse Itzler. You might have seen me post a couple of his stories because I really like his stuff. And he talks about how the best things about being in business are rarely in your business plan, right? When you're in business for yourself, opportunities, just kind of like present themselves, right? So I think that as, the content keeps growing, as I keep on trying to do my best to give you guys the best content, opportunities will come up, right? Little things will come up. And, we'll see what happens. I think good stuff is in store. I think 2025 is going to be good. But yeah, so I'm just gonna keep on trying to bring you good stuff, Rex. So let's see what happens. Let's see what happens. Osama, our good friend Osama from Satat says, "Hello, sir. I hope everything is going well." Everything is going great, Osama. It's a good day. It's a 50K day today. Hard to complain when it's 50K, right? Osama says, "Congratulations on the 50K. You deserve it." I appreciate that. I appreciate that. Social media is a funny place. Social media is a funny place. I'm not sure if anybody deserves anything per se, but yeah, the growth, the algorithms, all that stuff. Social media is a funny world. Lakshmi, our good friend Lakshmi. Lakshmi, you're usually not here during the week. What are you doing here? It's good to see you. Good morning, Dennis. Congratulations on 50K. Thank you so much, Lakshmi. I appreciate that. Yeah, big day. 50K does not happen every day. Makes me hungry to get to 100K, to be frankly honest. It makes me really want to get to 100K. So looking forward to that. But yeah, just really humble, really appreciative of all the support all of you guys have given me. So thank you for that. Manoj from Bangalore. Good morning, Dennis and everyone. Manoj from Bangalore, India. Congratulations, 50K, sir. That's amazing. Thank you, Manoj. I always appreciate you showing up. It's amazing and just like mind-bending at the same time. I mean, I just never thought that was possible, And like, like I live in a city that has a couple of stadiums. We have a couple of professional sports teams, and like none of our stadiums hold 50,000 people. Like they're smaller than that. So I think to myself, I'm talking to like, like my follower base is like a whole stadium full of people. Like that's crazy. It's mind-boggling. It's mind-boggling. Leo, my good friend Leo says, "Good morning, everyone." Good morning, Leo. How are you? Leo, for both Leo and Rex, if you guys see them around, please give them thanks. Please follow them on their platforms. Because they do a great job volunteering and modding for me. They've been doing it for a few months now, so I really appreciate them. So make sure you give them a shout out. But Leo, always appreciate your help and all your modding. Thank you so much. Sarvesh says, "Hey Dennis, congrats for 50K subs on YouTube." Thank you so much. We appreciate that, Sarvesh. Really good to see you again. Yeah. Like I said, I'm just amazed by it. I can't believe it's happened. Craziness. Fatima, congratulations on reaching 50K. The milestone is a testament to your hard work, dedication, and inspiration. Bring everyone. Wishing you even more success ahead. Thank you, Fatima. Those are very kind words. Thank you so much. Yeah, just trying to bring you guys good stuff, right? Like I told you guys, I'm sick and tired of all the trash out there. And honestly, I've been sick and tired about it for a while, because bad information on data science is not new, right? It's been going on for at least since 2017, 2018. When the big boom happened or whatever, right? But I wasn't able to say anything because I was under a very strict social media policy, so on and so forth. But this opportunity opened up, and I'm just glad I'm able to have a platform to be able to share that with you guys. So yeah, it's been great. But thank you for those kind words, Fatima. I really appreciate that. Petition to buy Leo a watch. Well, I think, Leo was up earlier. I know he wanted to attend this stream, but it happened all so quickly. But you know what? I appreciate all of the mods. They volunteer their time. So if Leo's late or mods can't join or whatnot, I appreciate what they can do, right? You got to appreciate for people what they can do, not for what they didn't do, right? So still appreciate Leo. A mole anyways. That's a good name. Congratulations for the 50K. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Thank you. Rex is the real dinosaur. Rex. Yeah, Rex is going to have to tell us sometime where his username comes from, Rex. Something tells me that Riker isn't your real last name. I'm just taking a guess here. But Leo, maybe Rex, maybe sometimes you'll tell us that. Harris, let me come back to your question. Let me get done with the introductions here. I'm going to come back to your question, Harris. If I forget, please remember. Please remind me. Oh my gosh, I can't talk. Joseph, another great moderator. Give Joseph a shout out, guys. Really appreciate the mods. Congrats on 50K, Dennis. So thank you for all you do. It's been watching the growth of this community and channel. Yeah, it's been amazing, right? And you've been a big part of it, Joseph. So thank you for that. Michael from Nigeria says, hello, Sir Dennis and everyone. I trust we're all doing great. We're doing great, Michael. Hope the same for you. Yeah. Big day today. Well, Michael says, congrats on 50K subs. Dennis, missed your celebration stream. Yeah, Michael. You know what? That was my fault. And a little bit of just, like, I guess, what is that saying? A victim of your own success. Where I got a lot of followers overnight, so everything kind of sped up. Just as recently as yesterday, I told my moderators that it was probably going to be later this evening. Like, literally like 10 hours from now. But it got sped up so quickly. But yeah, it's really my fault. But we're going to do something different for 100K, where we're going to do like a longer stream leading into it, instead of like doing it so close to the numbers. So that's where I went wrong on that. It wasn't so long ago you were at 1K subscribers. You deserve it, Dennis. Yeah, it was not that long ago. It was crazy. Social media is a funny place, like I said, guys, right? Social media is a funny place. So Fatima says, thank you so much for support, sir. I'm doing well in my studies, and it's all thanks to your guidance. Oh, I appreciate that. Yeah, hopefully I'm helping people with their studies out there. Data science can be confusing when you're in the academic level. I didn't understand everything when I was going through it. But hopefully I'm contributing a little something positive there. Okay, Dennison said, as a relatively new member, I'd enjoy hearing your story. Dennison, are you directing that at me or somebody else in the chat? Yeah, let me know. Kelvin, welcome. Appreciate the introduction, Kelvin. Hi, Dennis. Love your content. I'm from Thailand, pursuing data scientist job in Brussels at them. Oh, very cool. So you're from Thailand, but you're living in Brussels. Very cool. I've always wanted to visit Belgium. I hear Brussels is a beautiful city, so would love to go there. But Kelvin, glad to hear that. Anything else you want to share with us? Let us know. Yeah, just glad to have you here, and just keep on coming back. We try to give good information here. 9937 Robin says, hello, Dennis. Good to see you again. Hey, Robin, how are you? Robin, remind me where you're from. I can't quite remember. I can't remember where you're from, Robin. Remind me. Muhammad says, congrats for 50K. Thank you, Muhammad. Good to see you back. Hope you're well. My friend. But yeah, Thanks again. Thanks everybody for the congratulations. Really appreciate it. We're on to 100K, right? I want to get to 100K. I want one of those silver play buttons. I invited my sister to attend today's stream, and she said, "Wow, you're going to be close to 100K soon." So I was like, "Yeah, I want to get there. I want to get there." So we'll see where that ends up. But really looking forward to that. All right, so Leo says Elon Musk would agree with you. Yeah, so if you guys aren't familiar with our Discord, the link is in the chat in the comments. But Leo posted a great Discord, great video with Elon Musk sending his congratulations, because Leo and Elon Musk are cool that way. But it's funny to see that generative video AI technology, how far it's come along, but maybe how far it still has to go. But Leo, that was a really nice gesture on your part. Really appreciate it. All right, so Harris is done. He's done with the congratulations. He's all business. He wants to know, when we take a data set to do EDA or feature engineering in Python, where and how to start, and which aspect do we have to consider in our minds? Great question, Harris. Lots to unpack there, right? Lots to unpack there. First of all, let's realize something. We are talking about two completely distinct things. All right? In a well-structured methodology. Sorry, one step back. People make the mistake of combining EDA and feature engineering, but in a well-structured methodology, those are two completely different things. Very fundamentally different things. All right, so that's the first thing to keep in mind. So let's talk about EDA. When it comes to EDA, the whole point of EDA is, what does the data tell you? You think you know what your data tells you because that's your bias, all right? Or the bias of your business, bias of your stakeholders, however you want to put that. But you really don't know anything until you do that EDA. So that's the mindset you should have going into EDA, right? And I talk about this a lot with my corporate clients. And my saying is always, let the data speak to you. Don't tell me what you think the data says. Tell me what the data actually tells you. You got to let the data speak to you. That's the whole point of EDA. And to go another level deeper on that, you're trying to make sure that you're coming out of EDA with a set of tools, most likely dashboards, that your business stakeholders can use to explore their own data. So when we talk about Tableau and Power BI and all these other tools, yes, you are going to have some visualizations and tools that are for you, like your data science team, but your goal should really be to do it for the business team. Let them come back to you and tell you what they found. A data science team is a technical team, not a business team. So why are you trying to find the insights, right? That's a mistake. It happens a lot, but it's a mistake. Don't let your data science team come up with the business insights. Why would you do that, right? So the goal of EDA is to say, all right, here, business stakeholder, we created a set of Power BI dashboards, as an example, and we're going to give you 2 weeks for you guys to go at it and cut and play with the data as much as you want. And in that process, if you've done it right, and and the business is putting their their best efforts forward, they're going to come back to you and say, hey, that dashboard you gave us, do you know that we found X, Y, and Z? And you're going to be like, great. What do you want to do with that? Right? When you're doing that, that is like super, super effective EDA. Like you're firing on all cylinders there, right? When you're doing that. That's really should be the goal. To have something where the business is going to come back to you and say, hey, thanks for those dashboards. We found this. Can you help us find more of this? And in some cases, you might find that the dashboards provide them enough information to finish out what they really wanted, right? Because, what are we talking about there? If we're talking about giving somebody advanced dashboards that they're going to play with and that, you've set up properly in a visualization package, you're talking about advanced analytics, right? And that's okay. Advanced analytics solves a lot of problems. So that should be the goal of EDA, right? Like from beginning to end, that should be the mindset that you have. How can I enable my business stakeholders to play with their own data? And then give them a few weeks and then see what comes back. So that would be my answer for EDA. For feature engineering, lots of things to consider there. But I would tell you, not every project, not every set of data has a guaranteed algorithm that can help it, right? That's another, and by the way, guys, we should take that as like a general statement, right? One of the expectations that you should set with your stakeholders from the very beginning is to say that you're exploring an algorithm, but there's no guarantees that you're going to find a reliable algorithm. People feel that way, right? Because they think, well, Meta does it. Why can't you guys do it? Well, because Meta has a couple more resources than we might have, right? Or they have, inherently different data, things along those lines. So to me, when I think of feature engineering, because you're asking about mindset, which I love I love that aspect of your question, right? Because you're thinking about it in a bigger picture view, and that's a good thing. The mindset there should be, I, the data scientist, want to give myself the best opportunity possible at finding an algorithm, right? I want to increase my probability of finding a viable algorithm. How do you do that? You do that by widening your data set. Your stakeholder gives you 10 columns, but I want to widen that as much as possible. Because if I only focus on those 10, my probabilities of finding a viable algorithm have dropped, right? So that's the whole mindset. I want to widen that data set, give myself the best opportunity at finding a viable data set. That's it. That's all you want to do. I want to try to find the most viable data set. I'm going to widen out my view and try to give myself the best opportunity to find a viable model. The wider your data set is, the more experiments you can run, the more data transforms you can do, right? The more inputs you can have into like a neural network or something like that, right? So that's the whole mindset. Now you gotta still add things that make sense, right? It's easy to get like a little bit too loose with the fields that you add, right? You gotta add fields that make sense. But that's the whole mindset, right? Your probabilities increase the wider your data set is. That's it. That's all there is to that. Good question, Harris. So I hope that helps you. If you have any follow-ups or anybody else has questions on that, let me know. But it's a good question. We haven't had a good EDA question in a while. But that's what I would tell you, Harris. Those are the two mindsets that I would carry into it. All right, let me go back here. Yeah, Michael, or rather Leo. Michael is impressed with your connections to Elon Musk. Leo's a man of the world. He knows a lot of people. So he was very nice to get Elon Musk to do that video for me. Thank you so much, Leo. Harris says, sir, you are talking about dashboard as a data scientist. Making dashboard is our work, or is it a job of data analysis person? It depends. It depends. Do you have a dedicated data analyst person? You may or may not, right? Harris, I know you're a little bit newer to my content. So one of the things, a lot of people in here have heard that I'll share with you is, how big do you think most data science teams are? Most data science teams are very small. Even at larger corporations, they're very small. So don't get caught up in different roles or different things, right? Or, different titles. You're gonna be doing some of these things that aren't necessarily your title. So, what are you gonna do if there is no data analyst? You're gonna not do a dashboard, right? Be prepared, like I've said before, my biggest wish for all of you, and really just kind of for data science in general, is for people to just think of themselves as data professionals, right? You're not X, you're not Y, you're not this, you're not that. Just be a data professional, right? And that makes you more valuable. That makes you more flexible. Whether you're a contractor or an employee or whatever, when somebody comes to you, oh yeah, you need a dashboard? I can do that. Oh yeah, you want me to build that data pipeline? No problem. Oh, you want me to help out with this DBA stuff? Yeah, sure, I got it. Oh, you need some modeling help? Yeah, no problem. Like, you want to be flexible, right? So yeah, Harris, you're going to turn down a contract or a job because your title isn't data analyst? Just do it, right? Just be a data professional. Leo says, my current data science team is me only. Hey, we all started that way, right? We all started that way. So, yeah, sometimes you just have to do everything from end to end. And that's okay, right? Like I've shared this story before. Denelson was asking about my background. I've shared the story where, I was working for a new client in a new position, and I still felt like I needed to prove myself. I spent one day, 10 hours. I put my headphones in. I worked for like 10 hours. And I did my own model, API, web interface, and the design for the web interface all by myself in an entire day. Sometimes you have to do that. There is no web designer. You're it. Your whole team, you are the team, right? There is no API specialist. You kind of have to piece it all together, right? So Leo, I hear you. We've all been there, right? And that's okay. Right? Kelvin says, thank you. I love that you're putting a real world perspective into your reply. So Kelvin says, yes, I used to work as a data scientist where I have to do from data science work to web development, a team of 4. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely, Kelvin. I totally hear you. I've worked for large companies where we're a team of 2. It's 2 of us that we're data scientists, and that's it, right? And you're putting web interfaces, APIs, the presentations, the PowerPoints, You're running the business stakeholder meetings. I mean, yeah, Harris, I mean, definitely do not think you're going to be walking into like a 20, 30 person team or like everybody has defined roles and you can just pass something off to an analyst or whatnot. It's just going to be you a lot of times. So be prepared for that. Be prepared. And I'm not trying to pick on you, Harris. I mean, that goes for everybody, obviously. But Kelvin, yeah, thank you so much for that contribution. I mean, I've had that same experience. I've talked to managers who are just like this too. And even at big companies, guys, the teams are not that big. Harris says, sir, should we learn Excel and visualization tool also for data science? Absolutely. First of all, guys, if you haven't worked in the corporate world, Excel runs the world. Everything. If you were to hack Excel and remove Excel from everybody's computers, like the entire world business economy would crash in an instant, right? Like you have all these idiot hackers trying to hack credit cards. Don't do that. Just hack Excel. If you want to bring the world to its knees, just make Excel stop working. I mean, like really, I mean, Excel is used an incredible amount out there in the real world, right? I mean, if you're a hacker really set on world domination, just stop Excel. Why are you going after the credit card system? But yeah, absolutely. And here's where Excel gets overlooked. That makes it convenient, okay? Excel is extremely convenient for shipping data back and forth to your business stakeholders. Shipping data, results, small visualizations, pivot tables, all that other stuff, super convenient for them. It's a single file, everybody can open it, everybody can understand it. You can bold and highlight and blah, blah. Very easy. Compare that to other things, right? I mean, like, what are you going to do? You're going to send your stakeholder an SQL query to run? Of course not, right? But yeah, I mean, Excel is as old-fashioned or as not sophisticated as some people might think it is. It's just a convenient tool. It's a convenient, effective tool, right? So yeah, absolutely, Harris. Make sure you do develop some Excel skills in that regard. Now, you have to choose when you've hit a level of scale where you do need to bring in like a Power BI or something else, right? But for smaller data sets or just quick visualizations that you want to kind of get across to people, right? Excel is great. And like I said, it's good for your business stakeholders. I mean, you're gonna have business stakeholders that are like managing directors or whatever, right? Those are not technical people. They want to have something they can double click on, see something big appear on their screen, and you can tell them, by the way, I bolded this column because those are all the results. And then that way they can go look at it and say, yeah, okay, I'm on board with those results, and you're done. You're not going to send a managing director to a Hadoop cluster and then say, oh, I want you to look in row 97, column G. But you're not going to do that, right? You can't bold things in Hadoop, right? Where am I? Tush 7, we ask people to introduce themselves. Let us know where you're from, okay? Game on Twitch. Nice to see you, Game. Let us know where you're from, okay? We always ask people to introduce themselves. But you're asking a good question, so let me... yeah, but then you write down requirements and tasks to be done just to do them yourself. I am in that uncomfortable position right now. Yeah, I hear you, Game. I hear you. But, you know, I guess it differs, right? But for me, I always viewed it as an opportunity. I always viewed it as an opportunity not only to, display my skills, but to also show people what was possible with data science in the way that I saw it, right? Because, I'm not saying this is the best way to think about it, but sometimes for me, I can feel a little bit slowed down if you have to wait for a DBA, or you got to wait for the graphic designer to get back to you and stuff like that. It can feel a little bit constricting sometimes for me, right? Especially when all I'm trying to do is give like a quick demo, right? Because I'm really big on don't tell me, show me, right? So I don't want to go if somebody gave me 10 minutes in a meeting with managing directors or with a business stakeholder or whatnot. I don't want to go in there with math and code. I want to go in there with a demo, right? I want to show them something, right? So if I'm trying to put a quick demo together, I kind of like being able to put my own requirements and my own like things together, right? Like I'm talking about this 10-hour day, right? I mean, yes, it was a long day. I had to, I hear you, I had to do my own requirements and think, oh my gosh, I'm going to be here a while. But it was also just one day. It would have taken me 3 weeks to put that demo together if I had to wait for the graphics and the web and the API person and blah, 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 right? So, maybe think of it as an opportunity, right? That's another twist on it, maybe. So Calvin says, wow, I thought I was the only one. Maybe I stayed in one place for too long. No, Calvin. Calvin, what you're describing is 100% common. 100% common. My regular viewers already know what story I'm going to share, but I'm going to share it for the newer people. But, the story I keep on sharing is, I've been on small teams and I've worked for some very, very large companies. I had dinner with a good friend. He is a vice president of innovation, large company, a company I guarantee all of you would want to work for. It's one of the largest financial companies in the U.S. He has a lot of resources at his disposal, and his whole team is 10 people. 10 people, guys, for an innovation team at one of the largest companies in the U.S. So don't worry. If you're on a small team, that is perfectly natural, right? Perfectly natural. So Kelvin, the experience you described, I've had, and 100% exists. So yeah, you're not alone in that. You just got to keep on going and fighting the good fight. Phantom Prophet, let us know where you're from. I don't think it's your first time. I think you've been here before, but let us know where you're from, please. We always ask people to introduce themselves. Rex, thank you so much for being a great host over there on Twitch. Khalif, our good friend Khalif. Good morning, everyone. Hope y'all doing well. Doing really well, Khalif. Thank you. 50K today, so happy about crossing that milestone. But yeah, I think we're doing well, Khalif. Hope the same for you and your family. Leo says Excel is colorful, user friendly. Absolutely. You can get pretty far in Excel, guys. You can get pretty far in Excel. Obviously, I'm tempted to talk about like Excel VBA and all the other things you can do with VBA. But maybe that's going a little bit too far, right? Like if you're using VBA, that's when you should consider maybe you should be doing it in a more dedicated Python platform or something else. But yeah, it's extremely user friendly, and that's really what you want, right? And it's also compact, right? You can send a lot of data, a lot of various pieces of data in a single file instead of sending like multiple CSVs or multiple PDFs or whatever, right? So yeah, absolutely. And by the way, guys, here's a good tip for you guys. This is something that I can't remember if I read this or how I came across this, but when I first started learning Python, and obviously when you learn Python, if you want to do a lot of data work, you're going to learn pandas. When I first started, so if you're looking to start out, write this down. Take an Excel sheet that you last worked on, like in a previous couple months or whatever, something you did for school or for work or whatever. Take an Excel sheet that you worked on and now go and put the raw data into pandas and duplicate all of the calculations that you did in Excel, duplicate them in pandas. Because it's a good way to learn, right? Because it's not the best comparison or the best explanation, but it's still accurate to say that pandas is like this coding representation of Excel, right? Because pandas can basically do everything Excel can. Sums and averages and all this other stuff. So it's good practice for you to be able to say that, to say, oh, okay, well, I had 10 columns. Okay, let me put those in pandas. Oh yeah, and then I got the sums of all the columns. Okay, let me go do that in pandas. And then I got this, and then I did this, and then I took this subset of data and go and do all of that in pandas. Like learn the code to do that in Panda. If you can do that, it's a good way to train your mind as far as understanding the different data structures of pandas, while at the same time learning the pandas methods and functions for all those things. So think about that. Okay, if you guys are just starting out and you want a good learning exercise, go do that. Just pick a random Excel that you've worked on in the past. Doesn't matter. And go reproduce it in pandas with code. That's an excellent exercise to help you, dive deeper and deeper into pandas. It won't be easy, right? You're going to have to research a lot of things along the way. But really good way for you to be able to learn more about pandas. Okay? So think about that. Harris says, sir, after all your discussion, can we say data analysis is a subset of data science? Yeah, sure. I'm on board with that. Yeah. Remember, data science is the umbrella for everything. Right? And then below that, there's different components, different tools. And data analysis is definitely one of those tools. So sure. I'd agree with that. Khalif says, late today, hope I didn't miss a lot. Yeah, no worries, Khalif. Glad to see you here. Okay, so Real Phantom says, from Texas. Okay, cool. Thank you so much. Let us know what part of Texas. I lived in Dallas for a little bit. So Phantom Prophet says, been working in data science for a year now. I work for a small company. I feel like I still have a lot to learn. That's okay. Which is why I want to stay. When should I consider moving to the next job? Why would you consider moving? As I guess I'm stuck on your sentence of I feel like I still have a lot to learn. Okay. If you feel like you can still learn it at this company, then why consider moving? Right? Now, if you're saying, well, I don't think they can teach me anything else, that's another discussion. But if you're still there and you're still learning, then why move? Right? Is there something else that's driving you to want to move? But I think you should keep on going. Right? If anything, it puts you in a good position. It puts you in a good position because you can be introducing new things that are coming out, right? Because remember, guys, data science is still very much a dynamic field, right? Lots of developments are still out there and still to come, right? Like AI we're only at 1% of what AI can do. A smaller company is going to be a lot more open to those ideas, those suggestions, those new approaches than a larger company is, right? So even if you feel like you're not learning, it's still a good opportunity for you to bring in additional or new thoughts, right? New approaches. So if you're happy and they're treating you right and you feel like you can still learn, I mean, why are you considering moving? Like, are there other factors there? Or maybe it's just like a FOMO effect, right? So think about that. Or if you want to provide more details, you know, happy to take those into consideration. Maybe it'll change my answer. I don't know. But you know, the grass isn't always green on the other side, right? Siva, good to see you again. I'm pretty sure it's not your first time. This is afternoon. Afternoon to you too. Hope you're doing well. Dennis, have you worked with federated learning? If yes, how was it in terms of team dynamic and results compared to working on regular teams? No, Leo. I'm sorry, but I don't have experience with that. I'd be interested in hearing more about it. You know, maybe you want to give us the elevator pitch. Maybe other people in the chat haven't heard about that. But no, I don't have any experience with this. And you guys know, if I have no experience, I tell you that. I stay in my lane, guys. I stay in my lane for what I know. But no, I don't have experience. What's the elevator pitch on it? You know, for my benefit and for people in the chat, let us know, Leo. What's the elevator pitch on that? Khalif says, I'm not too good at Excel. Is that okay for data scientists? Yeah, Khalif, you don't have to be an expert in Excel, right? Like I said, if you're going to start looking into like VBA and changing things with VBA in your Excel, that might be the sign to say, okay, I need to do this in Python or something else. But I'm just talking about, you know, being able to put together sheets and some visualizations, some pivot tables, lookup tables, things like that, to be able to share with your stakeholders, right? So don't look at it as a tool you have to master. Look at it as a tool that's just a convenience, right? That's how I look at it. Yeah, and just so we're clear on that, guys, okay? I'm not advocating that we all need to become Excel masters. I'm just asking all of you guys to consider the convenience of a tool like Excel, right? You know, like Leo said, it's easy, it's colorful. I think it's, you know, it's compact. You can send a lot of things in a single file. Everybody has it on their desktop. It doesn't require any special access to any clusters or you know, special databases. It's just a convenience, guys. So you don't have to get crazy with your learning on it. Just, you know, just realize how convenient of a tool it is when you're in a real world business environment. Okay. Sir, thank you for all your answers. Very happy to hear these. Okay, cool, Harris. Yeah, you know, Harris, you're asking great questions. So, you know, really appreciate the questions. Yeah, and that's just my perspective, you know. It's good that you're asking about EDA and feature engineering because one, a lot of teams go wrong there, and two, it's a very foundational step to everything else you're going to do, right? If you're going to do your EDA right, then you might not be looking for the right answers in your algorithms later on. If you don't do a feature engineering right, then you might have to go back and say, hey, we couldn't find a viable algorithm. Well, why? Because you were only testing on the 10 original columns that the stakeholder gave you. Well, that's a massive mistake, right? So you're asking good questions. Thanks a lot. Okay, so Phantom Profit is going to add to his previous stuff, or their previous stuff, sorry. I believe we'll be approaching a level where we'll move away from development and now maintenance of implemented programs. Okay, I hear you on that. A little bit of FOMO for wanting to get a FANG job too. Okay. All right, so just as before with Harris, you're bringing up two completely separate items, important ones, but not correlated, right? And I love your mention of maintenance. That is something that I have not done enough content on. For any number of reasons. But yeah, so for the rest of the chat, Phantom Profit here is bringing up an excellent point that you really only understand once you've been out there working as an actual data scientist. Model maintenance becomes a massive part of what you and your team will do over the long run. Huge part. Do not underestimate how much that requires. I've seen a lot of teams go from a lot of innovation, a lot of new projects, where that's like 95% of what they do, to then it becoming like 10% of what they do, and 90% is maintenance of all the other previous projects that they were previously innovative on. Believe it or not, models need maintenance. Models decay, right? Data changes. Models need to be maintained. And somebody has to do that, right? A data scientist has to do that, right? Where depending on the level of decay, the type of model, so on and so forth, it can be an involved effort. And in many cases, it can be almost like rebuilding the model from the ground up. Because, if your data has changed, your distributions have changed, well, guess what? Your model may not be as effective anymore, right? So now you got to maintain it. You got to retrain it. You got to do some reinforcement learning, or maybe again, you start from level 1. Maybe reinforcement learning isn't going to help you, right? So that is something that I could see where it would push somebody out and say, hey, look, if I look at the next 2-3 years, I'm going to be maintaining the same models, not maintaining the same models I've already worked on, and I'm not going to work on anything new. That happens. So real Phantom Profit, I'm kind of making some assumptions there, but my gut tells me that maybe that's a little bit of what you're feeling, right? That maybe that level of new projects has gone down because you guys are now bogged down in maintenance, right? So yeah, I totally hear you. So guys, I really want everybody to take note of the message that's on the screen now by Real Phantom, because this 100% happens. Where, you'll be in a position, or your employees, right? Because you'll be a manager someday. We'll look at this and say, oh, wait a minute, I don't like what's coming up here. I'm just going to be working on the same models for the next 3 years. That happens, guys. Right? So, I hear you on that. I hear you on that. Also realize that that this can kind of be a little bit difficult to get out of, because let's say you're on a team like this. One of the ways to solve it, and kind of like the obvious solution, is to say, okay, well, we need more people. Can we expand the team? Okay, so let's assume that goes okay. Let's assume that, you get the funding from your bosses, from the powers that be. But then what? You're going to ask brand new people to come in and learn your previous models, learn your previous code so that they can maintain it? That's not always going to go well, right? And even if they do, you're bringing them in specifically from a maintenance role to work on an older code base. That's not going to help your employee retention, right? You'll be lucky if they stay a year. So that's difficult too, right? So something to think about there. But yeah, a real Phantom Profit, I think I'm hitting on what you're feeling there, because I have seen this. So I completely empathize with you. Okay, so second part. Wanting to get the FANG job, right? Everybody wants the FANG job, right? FANG jobs don't always pay as good as you think they do, right? Why would they? They get 1 million resumes a day. Do you know how many resumes Google gets a day? Right? Why would they be paying a lot? So a lot of their compensation too, when you hear about the bigger numbers, it's not necessarily actual money. It's more about the stock units, right? So is that good? Is that bad? It's not the worst thing in the world, right? But a FANG job isn't always what it's cracked out to be, guys. Be careful with that. You know, like that saying, be careful what you wish for, right? And, you know, I get it. You know, people are different stages in their career, different motivations for what they want and all that. I get it. But for me, at my stage, you know, one of the things in retrospect, I appreciated in my career was having good managers. I want to work for good managers and I want to be surrounded by smart people. That's it. And I don't care whether that's at a FANG or a small company, big company, whatever. Right? But that's what's important to me. So you got to decide what's important to you and then move accordingly. Right? But for me, I want to learn from people smarter than me. That's really important to me. And I've been fortunate to find that in my career. Other times I haven't. Other times I've worked for complete idiots. But that's okay. Right? It's what's important to me. So I would encourage all of you to think of it in that way, because I think that's really what's important. Kelvin adds, there are companies that pay well that are not FANG but competitive nonetheless. Sure, of course, yeah. Yeah, I agree with that, Kelvin. Yeah, and sure, I mean, there are some very, very high-paying jobs. But the point I'm really trying to make here is that I don't, you know, people always get caught up in FANG, but look, that's like 5 of like thousands and thousands of companies that need data scientists, right? So why would you focus on that small proportion? But I hear you, Kevin. Excuse me, I said Kevin. I meant to say Kelvin. All right, so Leo is adding to the federated stuff. Basically, it's when you have sensitive data that can't be shared even amongst the data scientists. So they split it into teams, not having any notion about what the data is, working only with the generated results. You probably know it by a different name. Just thinking how you'd be working on something you have no idea what it is and no idea what the other team is working. Yeah, that's a great question, Leo. You know, Leo, I haven't experienced this, and I haven't seen this in data science. If you have seen it somewhere, Leo, I'd love to hear about it because, you know, I think that's interesting. So here's... you know what, Leo? You're asking a great question. I'll present you a variation that does happen. Does actively happen in data science. So the variation that I've seen on this is where they will separate the data science team, the entire team, from the business. They will create a wall between the data scientists and the business in order to be able to prevent domain bias. So that's the closest variation that I've heard to what you're describing, Leo. You would separate out the teams just so that the data scientists can think freely and say, well, wait a minute, what if we try this? And they won't be affected by the business saying, oh, no, that'll never work, right? Because that's ultimately what ends up happening, right? And somebody overrides the data science team. So in order to have free and open experimentation, you know, I guess you could say an appropriate practice would be to say, okay, well, we can only have free and open experimentation if the data science team isn't biased, so don't let them talk to the business. So that's the only variation I've heard of, you know, and I know that's not exactly what you're describing. Because again, that's not about sensitive data, that's about bias. But I have seen that happen. There are companies that actively do that. But otherwise, Leo, no, I haven't seen that or heard about that in data science. I mean, I'm sure what you're describing also, I'm guessing goes beyond data science, right? Like you could probably use it in any number of industries. But no, I have not heard of an application exactly like that in data science. But yeah, it says I will try to share more with you later too. Yeah, also, yeah, great, Leo. Look forward to it. Yeah, so for those of you guys that don't know, Leo and I and some of the other folks, and we all communicate via Discord. There is a Discord link in your chats. It's a pinned comment. We are approaching 400 users on Discord, so it's a growing community. We're trying to get more activity on there. So yeah, we're if you want to join us, keep the conversation going. Maybe you can't join the streams very often, but you still want to talk data science. The Discord is the place to do it. Rex says, yep, I also value a more positive workplace culture and opportunity to grow than a brand name. Yeah, absolutely, Rex. Absolutely. Yeah, the bottom line is that good leaders are not easy to find, right? Good leadership skills aren't easy to develop. So being in a position where you are reporting to a good leader is something we should all value. Right? I know that I've grown the most when I have, good leaders above me. And it makes, work more enjoyable and the environment better and all that. So yeah, I'm with you, Rex. If you have that, then you also have the positive culture, the opportunity to grow. And it doesn't matter how big the company is at that point, right? You're just working for good leaders. So I hear you on that. I hear you on that, Rex. I completely agree with you. But guys, thank you so much for today. It's been a heck of a day with the 50K and the great questions today. Really appreciate the time that we're able to spend together. Really appreciate all of you, because again, I couldn't get to 50K without great followers like you. So thank you so much for enabling me to do this and to, share in this community with all of you. Keep on coming back, really enjoy the discussions. Keep on contributing, keep on learning from each other. I love the community helping each other. So I stream every day at 1500 GMT. And again, just thank you for everything. Thank you for the 50K. But, take care of yourselves and take care of your families. And I'll see you next time.